Good evening. I hope that we have been fine. First of all, I just want to start by apologizing. I think how I shared the card gave some people editing rights. That's why you found out that we had some kind of technicalities, but I'm still working on that so that I can reshare. But those who manage to do, I will not retake it. I'll check from the system, then reach out to you accordingly just after this session. So today we are going to do the R essentials for data science unit. It is an introductory unit. Also, we have this theory that I'm going to take you through today. But after that, I'm going to share a certain video. You are going to download both the RGUI and Studio. I'll be explaining what they entail. Then we will start the practical session tomorrow. But today, let us just go through the theory. And I hope that all of us have now that's laptops or desktop, whichever you have. And in terms of specification, for 64 bits, I think that is the best one currently. I'm going to show you how to confirm if your laptop or desktop has those features. So we are going to look at this module. This is module 3 in the curriculum. So what normal happens, if you find units that do not correlate with others, it can be it is not a must that they be taken in the same order in which they are arranged in the curriculum. That's why we have gone to module 3, and I think that you'll go to module 4 statistics before you come now to the Python unit, which is module 2, then module 5, going all the way. Apart from now, again, there's a time you will get W unit, which is independent because it is used for data visualization. There's also SQL unit, which is independent. But when you go to big data, because big data mostly is associated with what we call data engineering, SQL becomes like a prerequisite. That knowledge will assist you in big data, which is, I think, the second last unit. So I just want to take you through the theoretical background of these for data science. And I think those guys who are doing statistics, like mathematical background, those from the mathematical background already, is a software that you have heard of. So basically, when you are talking about R, it is a programming language, and it is an open source statistical package mostly used in statistical computing, data analytics, and scientific research. When I say open source, it means that this software or program is distributed under what we call the public license. Like anyone can download it from the website and use it. You are not required to pay anything. That's why it is called open source. So it is also very important for us to know the evolution of this software called R. This one was written by someone by the name Rose Ihaka and Robert Gentleman, and it was written at the Department of Statistics of the University of Auckland in New Zealand. So this software was first used in 1993. But after that, since it is an open source, a lot of guys or individuals have contributed to the growth of this software. That is like when you are using it, maybe you see there's something that is not working properly, then you are able to share with the community, and further development is done, and the software becomes more and more superior. So there's this group that is called the R core team, who normally modify this program or software to ensure that it is working properly. So maybe before even I go to the advantages and so on, later there's a video I'm going to send to you that will show you how to download it. But I understand that we have some people here. I think the statistics people, and I just want to pick Philip. Philip, do you have statistical background? That's Philip Walpole.
Pardon, could you repeat the question? Yeah.
Okay, I was saying that do you have any prerequisite knowledge in statistics? Like any knowledge in statistics?
A bit. I'm doing actual science, so yeah.
Okay, so you have come across R, right?
Not yet.
Or
Right now
have
we're
you
doing
had
Python.
it? Okay.
Yeah, I've had it.
Okay. There was someone else, I think. Let me pick someone. It is fine. That is there's someone I see. That's Claire. Claire, do you have a statistical background?
Hello, not yet.
But did you do actual science? Hello.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just joined the class, so I'm trying to get where we are.
Okay.
Maybe
Okay, that's
2
fine.
minutes. 2 minutes I
Okay,
get
no
where we are.
worries.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but no worries. But I do follow my students to know the background because it guides me on how I approach my classes.
Uh-huh.
So I have some data about the courses or your backgrounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I did actuarial.
okay, thank you. Maybe because you just joined, who has some knowledge about art? Let me just make it an open-ended question. Anybody who has ever heard about it or come across it? Yes, Venetia.
Okay, I did it as a unit in campus under time series.
Okay, thank you. So do you know the difference between R GUI and R Studio, or what is currently called POSIT?
We used to use R Studio while we were doing the time series projects, not R GUI.
Okay, thank you. So this what I'm talking about is R GUI. GUI stands for Graphical User Interface, and we will come there. I'll be explaining. Then later we have what called R Studio, which we will be using mostly, or what called POSIT, because late last year the company changed the name from R Studio to POSIT. The main reason why the name was changed, they were trying to develop the interface, like they are interface is like how you interact with the user. It's like UX, user design. Like they were trying to change it to make it like more friendly as the way Python is, because what is happening is that Python is becoming more and more popular in the market as compared to R. So they are trying also to make their product competitive. Okay, allow me to proceed. We shall come there. So, because the main thing is this what called R GUI. We have advantages of R for statistical computing and graphics. One advantage is that R is open source and free, meaning that it is licensed under the terms of general public use. So, in most organizations, even as most organizations are trying to adopt this data strategy in their companies and so on, the cost factor will always be a priority, as well, because the main reason why the cost factor will come in, no organization will want to invest. Maybe let us say mostly maybe small and medium enterprises, they don't have so much budgets or huge budgets and so on. And if, for instance, they can get such kind of softwares, those that are open source, they can get them at no cost, and still these softwares can assist them in data analytics, business analytics, and so on. I think it will be a very big advantage for such kind of organizations that are still struggling financially. Also, this software is popular and the popularity keeps on increasing. However, I have been trying to find out more updated statistics, but I could not find. The only one that I found was the ranking in 2016 and 2015 in terms of like how superior is it with regards to data analytics. Another advantage of this is that it runs in all platforms. Like if you're having a laptop or a desktop that uses Windows, it is compatible. If you're having one that uses Linux, still compatible. And if you are having Mac, still it is compatible. Another one is that of course, having skills also increases your chances of getting a job. It has as well the best development environment called R Studio. As I said, R Studio is now the interface where we will be doing our analysis and so on. It has 4 windows where you type maybe where you can import your data, where you can display your output or graphs and so on. So it has a very good development environment. Then another thing is that it has close to 30,000 free packages on Cran. Packages are a combination of tools that perform specific tasks. For instance, if I want to do data visualization using R, I'm going to use a package called ggplot2 to come up with my graphs and so on. So specifically, that is the main role of that package. If I want to do maybe data management in R and so on, or general data science in R, let me just use that one. In data science in R, there's a combination of packages called tidyverse. You shall come across it, that has those packages specifically that I use for the purpose of data science, business analytics, and so on in R. And then R is being used by biggest tech giants such as Twitter and so on. Here in Kenya, for instance, there's this company called Deloitte. Of course, others maybe. I know colleagues who are doing actual consultants there and so on who are using like R in their analysis and so on. Also, CASNEB recently, that's the accounting board here in Kenya. I saw they introduced a new unit in their curriculum called business analytics, and I saw that people were given two options: either to choose using R or Excel. That's what I saw in their curriculum. So you see that there is also adoption of the same software in accounting and finance. And I think also last week I saw this organization called CFA, Chartered Financial Analyst, if I'm not wrong. They are also changing how their exams are. They are adopting more practical kind of approach to their exams using different softwares as compared how it was currently, which was more of theoretical and so on. So what that entails is that the world is going to be a bit more practical, meaning that we are going towards whereby each and every department will need maybe some kind of technical skills for their employees. Yeah, and understanding maybe of various softwares, especially those that are used for data analytics. So I have listed some of the companies that are using R. One is Twitter, as I said. This one they use in monitoring user experience. And do we have anyone here who understands what user experience is so that he or she can explain to their colleagues? Anyone? Yes, Ferran?
I think user experience is, for example, when you visit a website, for example, or an app, you experience, for example, step by step, whatever you're doing by action. For example, in social media, if you're scrolling, something like that, you see the graphs, you see the dashboards, and everything is changing. So that's, I think, my understanding of user experience, where you have what you call the website or whatever you are using is reacting to your commands, something like that, without the customer or that person having an experience on that thing.
Okay, thank you so much, Ferran. So, for instance, let us say, suppose you have downloaded a mobile application from maybe Google Play Store. So we have customers. A customer has downloaded. After downloading, this customer maybe is required to register by inputting their details. For instance, after registration, if you are applying maybe for a mobile loan, you now proceed to application. So that's a user experience, like how are you going to interact with a certain platform. Now, how Twitter is using this, for instance, they are interested to know maybe among the people who are using our application, at what point are most of them dropping? Or among the features that we have in the application, like I think there's a retweet button, there's a like button, and so on. Which one do customers mostly use, and so on? So by monitoring that user experience, these people are able to come up with new features. And I think nowadays Twitter also has some kind of voice notes and so on. So all this is a result of monitoring user experience by trying to find out where do we have difficulties, like how can we improve the customer user experience and so on. Another one is Ford. Ford, I think it is a company in US that manufactures, I think, vehicles, some kind of an automobile kind of um, a factory. So mostly, I think most of you have seen the four-wheel Ford pickups and so on. What they do, they use R in analyzing social media to support design and decisions for their cars. So these people, I can call this as A/B testing in quotes, whereby not really an A/B testing, because when we are talking an A/B testing, you must have two experiments. Sorry, an experiment and a control experiment. This is not A/B testing. But what these people do, they come up with a design of a vehicle, then post on their social media platforms. As people are commenting, then they are able to analyze this data. And I think when we are doing the data science foundation, I mentioned something on sentiment analysis using what called natural language processing, whereby you can analyze this text data, this social media data, to be able to know among the people who commented on this post, how many maybe commented positive, how many commented negative, how many commented neutral. And maybe among the images, the design images of this Ford pickup and so on, uh, maybe you are interested to know which one did had a lot of positive comments, which one had a lot of negative comments, and so on. Then, of course, when it comes to decision making, you'll always go with that one that had a lot of positive comments, then you implement it. That's how Ford uses this tool in the analytics. Of course, in summary, is that it uses sentiment analysis of social media data. Then the tool uses R. Then we have what called New York Times. New York Times is just I think a type of a newspaper, like the Monitor in Uganda, the Standard, and whichever in Kenya. It's like a media company. So nowadays we have what called data journalism, whereby journalists nowadays present data using what we call infographics. Basically, infographics is like a dashboard, like graphics, like maybe this portion of people are supporting maybe certain government policies. So it is like maybe if there is an opinion poll, there's a yes, no, or something like that, or they are trying to track. Let us say it is a business daily kind of newspaper, and they are trying maybe to compare the prices maybe of how the stock exchange has been performing across various years and so on. So basically, that's what the infographic means. Like you are presenting data in form of graphics. Then also, we have human rights, that analysis group. This one mostly uses data to measure the impact of war. In fact, for those people in monitoring and evaluation, this plays a fundamental role, whereby maybe you use some kind of geo location data, like the latitudes and longitude, and you are able to visualize that data using but maps, to be able to see maybe in case there is war, what's the extent of destruction and so on. Then also Google, of course, these are the masters. They have come up also with some kind of a development environment, whereby you can work on R. You can analyze your data using R online. It is not a must you download the app and so on. So the next who should possess this knowledge in R. I have just highlighted a few, but I think from the use cases that I have given here on how various companies are using it, we see that journalists are using human rights. Those human rights, of course, are social science, if I'm not wrong. Those in automobile, those in marketing, those in technology. But this is just a list, a few, like the statisticians, the business analysts, those in marketing, and of course, the data scientists, among many others. So this is the general application. Of course, you have seen the specific use cases, but this is the general application. Like in data science, R can be used in real-time collection of data. It can be used in performing statistical and predictive analysis. Predictive, we say that we are trying to look at the future, what is happening in the future, and so on. As well, R can be used to create visualizations, like to come up with dashboards and so on. And of course, when you come up with dashboards, you are able to communicate your results to the stakeholders. Another general use is that it is used in statistical computing. Statistical computing, there was someone here who was working, I think, in the government agency that mostly they do with research. When R was invented, the main purpose was for statistical computing. That is to be more robust, like as compared to SPSS, which is a statistical package for social sciences. Like it gives you that flexibility, you can code and so on. Again, this one, maybe to explain so much on statistical computing, like you are trying to analyze, maybe you are doing a clinical trial, during that time when
I
for
think we lost
instance
you.
many
Uh,
companies were
Pardon, sir.
many
We're
biotech
not hearing you.
companies were trying to come up with COVID-19 vaccine. They normally carry what called clinical trials and so on,
We can't
and
hear.
data is being collected. So they carry out various kind of analysis, like so they can use R to do such kind of analysis to come up with items such as cross tabulation. Cross tabulation is a situation maybe you are having data and you are having
Analytics.
vaccine. You are trying
Boy.
to know maybe in this specific trial we had females, we had males. Among the females, maybe how many responded positive, how many responded negative. Among the males, the same, like you come up with some kind of statistical analysis. Then another application of R in the real world is machine learning, of course, and predictive analysis. In that, I see my internet looks unstable, but in case you can't hear me, you just text me so that okay. So packages, as I said, is a collection of tools. In Python, packages are called
Can
libraries.
anyone call the teacher, the tutor?
Hello. Okay. My internet had gone down. Is it back? I see my internet went down. I don't know at what point. 2 minutes ago.
You were explaining statistical computing.
Okay, thank you. I can repeat it. So, basically, I was explaining how R is used in statistical computing. And as I said that it has almost every statistical package. An example of statistical computing, and I was giving an example, like for instance, during the COVID-19 era, so many biotech companies were trying to come up with vaccines, that's COVID-19 vaccines, and we have what called clinical trials for the vaccines were being undertaken by these organizations. So, what happens in a clinical trial, for instance, because these vaccines can respond differently based on various gender. So, for instance, we have females, we have males, and also among those different gender, we have age. These vaccines as well can respond differently based on age. So statistical analysis, maybe you are trying to come up with a cross tabulation, like a table that shows you maybe in this vaccine, in this clinical trial, how many males responded positively and how many males responded negatively. How many females responded maybe positively and how many males responded negatively. So you are trying to come up with a table to summarize your data. That's a statistical computing and so on. So coming to machine learning, these are as well as very common machine learning tasks and packages, such as those that are used for linear and nonlinear regression, decision trees, and many other. Basically, what happens is that whatever you do with Python or any other data science software, R can as well do. What is only different is what we call technical, the syntax, like the language. How are you going to write your lines of your input into R or Python? But the output in most cases, it will just end being the same. So, in these R essentials, remember it is introduction, that's why it is called essentials. First of all, we will start by installing GUI and RStudio. And that there's a video that I'm going to share with you. You have to follow it keenly because you install RGUI first before you go to RStudio. Because RGUI is the basic, like is the one that has everything. RStudio is like it resides in RGUI because it's just the development environment. After that, we look at getting started with R. How does the interface look like? How do you understand various interfaces or various windows and what's the purpose of it? Then we will look at basic arithmetic, like how can we do simple addition in R? After that, how can you do maybe simple multiplication and so on? After that, we look at basic functions, like we have basic mathematical functions that resides within R. Then we will look at getting help, like I'm stuck. How can I get help when what we normally call to troubleshoot, like how can I get help when I'm stuck? After that, we have what we call using scripts. A script is just a window whereby you type maybe the code that you want, and so on. Then we have what called using objects. We have what called workspaces, like where does your work reside when you are using it. And then packages, I have emphasized so much on these packages, what it means. Collection of tools. Then also we look at data types. What are various kind of data that we have, and how are you going to treat them? Like, how do you treat a numeric vector? Like when I write your name as Collins, that data is numeric. Sorry, not numeric, a string, or what called character. And when I write maybe 1, 2, 3, that's now numeric. When I write maybe false and true, we call them Boolean. How are you going to treat such kind of data? Maybe in future now, when you want to do a very big kind of analysis, because as we say that we have what called data pre-processing. Data is never clean. After that, we look at objects in R. Objects in R is what called variables. Like, how do you store your data in R? Like, I can store my data as maybe sum, and when I type sum, it can return a value, and so on. After that, we go to what called vectors. What are vectors? We are going to learn it. After vectors, we go to what we call factors. Factors mostly here, you see we have what we call categorical data. Like gender. Gender is binary categorical. We have either male or female. When we are talking about countries, you can have Zambia, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi. That's categorical. Then, how now do you treat it? Because it is very important to understand it. When you reach to machine learning, mostly, that's where an issue comes. When you don't know how to treat this kind of data that is called factors. After factors, we go to what called matrices. Then after matrices, you have what called data frames. Data frames, basically, you see when I know most of you have dealt with data frame. It is only that you don't know it is a data frame. Like if you have a data in Excel that has names, maybe of clients, amount paid, and so on, that's a data frame. And we will find out that data frames are made up of vectors. So whatever is happening here, each concepts build on the other one. Like we will see how vectors will lead you to matrices, how matrices will lead you to data frames. Now, after understanding them, now you need now to know how can you import data, because in organizations mostly this data is in form of Excel, is in form of any other format. Now you have this data you have been given to analyze using R. How do you import it? Do your analysis or do your pre-processing. After doing your data pre-processing, maybe now you export to outside again R, maybe for further analysis. And then after that, of course, I'll give you a mini project. I'll give you a question and some kind of data for you to do. So this is what will be covered. But now, on installation, I'm just going to share the link to the video in the group. During the second side of the session, you can use it, because we are going just to have this first half of the class. I want to look into that card, but I'm going to share with you that video. But when you go to the RStudio website, the name has changed to POSIT. So you'll just type it, but you'll get it written as POSIT, then you download it. Nothing has changed substantially. Maybe you can ask any questions. Before, I want to show you how to know the specifications of your laptop, because I have said 64 bits is the best one. But before we go there, I can have maybe questions. Okay. In case you have any question, you'll just ask, but allow me to show you how to know the specifications. So, in your laptop or desktop, whichever, go to settings. Like you can just search here settings. Go to settings. When you go to settings, you go to this section, written system. Go to system. Then after system, this is the window that you will see. Scroll downwards until you see about here. Scroll downwards using this bar on your left, this one, until you see about. Then double click and open. Yeah. When you open, you see the specifications here. The device specifications, like mine, desktop i7B JHG7 processor, installed RAM, mine is 8 GB RAM, device ID, product ID, system type. The most important thing is the installed RAM and the system type, but I think the system type is fundamental here. So you need a 64-bit operating system, because 32 currently is very slow, and most of these softwares are not compatible with 32 bits. I hope this is clear. Do we have any question now? Yes, Brenda.
Yes, I would like to ask, what are the unique features? What can a R do that Python can't do when in relation to data science and data analysis? Or
Okay. Whatever R can do, Python can do. The only difference between the two is the learning curve. The learning curve of R is very steep. It's more of programming as compared to Python, whereby Python for data science, the codes mostly is like English terms. It's very easy. The learning curve is not as steep as that of R. But whatever Python can do, R can do, and vice versa. Maybe another thing, for instance, we have seen in R, you have a lot of packages, over 30,000 packages. But the Python for data science, what you call mostly Anaconda distribution, it has about 5 packages only that are used for data science. We have NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, about 5. So also they are very, like when you look at Python, they are very few and easy to understand. Are there so many, 30 of them, 30,000 and above packages? That's another difference that I can say. So basically, it is about the learning curve that is a bit different, but the output, the end results will be the same. That's why in many organizations, you find out that when they are advertising for those jobs, whichever, they mostly give that room, either you know R or Python, they still accept. I hope that is okay, Brenda.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other question? Yes, Sam.
Mine is on that specification. I'm trying to check. I think I'm lost. Trying to check mine, but I'm not using Windows. I'm using Linux.
Okay.
Can you guide me on that one?
Okay, Linux. I have never used it. Maybe I check after class, then I record a video on how that one can be checked. Because
Okay.
mostly I have used Mac and Windows. I have just to check it. Then also it means for you, even on how to install it, I need to share with you a separate video as compared to the rest who are using Windows.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other person, maybe in case you are not using Windows, you can just inbox me so that you get a separate process on how to. You can just inbox me so that I'm able to share separate. I'll share both in the group instead of sharing separately. I'll just share both in the group, but I'll indicate this is for Windows, this is for those who are using Mac, and so on. Any other question? Okay, thank you guys. I'm going to share that link. In case you have time today, you can install. But tomorrow, before our session, it is good if you complete the installation process. In case of any technicalities, you can always come to my inbox or in the group so that I can assist accordingly. So thank you all. Have a good night.
Night. Bye.
Good night.